Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Welcome to Sit Down and Shut Up on this wonderful Thursday evening. Today we have Rubber Ducks, so let's bring them on. Hey, Rubber Ducks, can you hear me? Rubber Ducks. Let's see.
All right, can you hear me now?
Hey, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I forgot I had muted myself.
Oh, right on. Happens to me all the time. Like at work and stuff, I'll have my headset on and then I'll just like forget to unmute, start talking, and people are like, "Hey, are you there?" Cool, man. So, tell me what's been going on. So I know you hit master, right? You were saying, and you're still running
Yeah,
Honda, right?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
You oh, one sec. Turn that off. So you're still running Honda, right? You hit master recently. You were saying,
Yeah, I hit master like a few weeks ago,
right on, right
like
on.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. So how's that been going for you? Like, what are you kind of running into, or things you might be struggling with? What do you think?
Um, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure because after I got master, the main thing I've been working on is matchup knowledge.
Okay.
I think that's the main thing I'm working with right now. So I've been trying to learn other characters, or at least the characters I struggle most against.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Like those matches I sent you were JP and Guile, and that tends to be some of my bad matchups.
Yeah, yeah, those can be tough, right? Because especially against Guile, he kind of forces you to play his game, right? And Honda is really good at making you play, similar thing, right? Honda, you kind of want to force your, impose your will, if you will, right? And then God doesn't really let you do that, right? So, okay, cool, man. So,
Well,
we've been on before,
good
so
change.
yeah, we'll do what we normally do. So we'll do the first three.
Switch over to Honda.
Awesome. Go ahead and queue up. We'll do the first three. We'll do a little replay review. We'll take one of the games we play, one of the games that you sent me, some lab work potentially, and then another first three run it back if there's time. So if that sounds reasonable to you, go ahead and queue up.
Yep.
All right. Like I said before, I'll deafen during this part so I don't impact anything you're doing, and I may take some time to I may run the timer down while I keep talking to get all of my thoughts out. So, all right. If you're ready, go ahead and queue up. Good luck.
No problem.
All right, Rubber Ducks. So they've been on before a couple of times. They always get better. Like every time that they're on this thing, the next time I play them, they're always they take the advice to heart and get better. Getting Honda to master, I think, was something they've been looking to do. I know they had a break. I think they had a break, something like that. Don't quite remember. But let's see what's going on with them now. Nice. Ooh, a little out of range for that. Nice. Well, nice that it worked, but maybe not so nice on the burnout. Oh, what happened? I just didn't confirm? Cool. I tried to DP, it didn't come out, but the jab ended up working. So they're a lot more patient overall. I think their neutral is improved a ton. Although the use of D-Rev might be a little too much. It's a nice challenge. A little bit of rollback, it's okay. Oh, I can't DP. Super. Oh, I could have supered. Oh, I didn't get the cinematic. Oh no, they went for the headbutt, unfortunate. So I think I should have lost that round actually when they were able to burn me out. Again, I think they're a lot more patient in neutral. Where I'm kind of getting them right now is that I'm beating them in the neutral interactions, right? Like some of the Honda shenanigans aren't quite working out. Oh, that was nice. And some of it was just because I was able to bait the D-Rev. Oh, went for the reversal. Woke up with something there. Oh! Much more patient neutral though, so that's a big plus. And definitely more patient, a little bit more patient in defense as well. A lot of times they were, when we played before, oh, maybe not now, I said that. But they were definitely doing a lot of wake-up options. Oh, man. Okay, I take it back. The last 3 interactions, they did do a wake-up option, some kind. Okay, they don't block, huh? Oh, no anti-airs either. Okay, so where I think they may be struggling right now, kind of says matchup knowledge, but I think some of it is that, like, again, like the neutral that I'm playing is maybe a little bit better, but I think some of the defensive decision making is still a little bit skewed towards active options. Knee. Frame traps. Oh. Went for anti there. You saw it come out? Like the chop. Oh. Oh, that was nice. Yeah. Some of it is spacing, so I think we'll have to talk about that a little bit more, especially when it comes to Honda buttons that are a little slow, or can be. Especially because he's using a lot less headbutt, right? A lot less of the Honda shenanigans. Oh, that's nice. Oh, had the not perfect parry. And I think they're pressing bigger buttons in those minus situations. Oh. Oh, didn't super. That's okay. All right. So what I think is happening, and we'll talk about it. I think I have a kind of an idea of where to go next. So let's bring it back on.
Oh,
Hey, buddy, what do you think?
oh, I try to do a bison.
So let me share my screen in Discord. So what I was mentioning on stream, and I've noticed, is that your neutral has gotten a lot better. I think you're not whiffing as many buttons, and you're able to kind of, compete, if you will, like contest space a little bit better. A little less Honda sort of shenanigans like the butt slams and headbutts to get in, and you're kind of using your walk-ups and your buttons to get in, right? So that's really good. I noticed that like you're a little more patient, at least in the first couple of games, you're a little more patient, and that really worked out for you. So I'm sharing my screen in Discord. Let's take a look at one of the replays here. So what I was noting was I think you still skew towards active defensive options. And what I mean by that is you tend to do like, wake up buttons, wake up D-Rev, right? Wake up DI, sometimes super, or wake up EX headbutt, right? To get through, or, to get armor frames. So what I think is happening is that since you're in Master now, right? I know you haven't been playing ranked a bunch, but what tends to happen is that as you go up and you start to get baited by, like you try to do those things to get baited, the punish ends up being a lot harder, right? I mean, people can punish in Diamond, but when it gets to Master, like people are trying to bait these things actively, and every time you kind of do a wake up option that gets beat, you end up taking 2,000, 3,000, potentially 4,000 damage, right? So if it's like 2 or 3 interactions where you try to go for an active defensive option and get beat, that can be where you end up losing, right? Is because you take a little too much damage in those scenarios, right? So I think the game 2 here might be a good one to look at. Let's take a look at this one. So that was good, right? So like you were standing at a range where I was gonna whiff my button. You just end up pressing this, and it ends up hitting me, right? So that was a pretty good hit there. The thing is, though, I don't think it was like a full whiff punish, you know, where like it was a reaction to me whiffing a button necessarily. But I do think that your intention here was to walk up and press that button, right? So like, you know, 6, 9, 12, 13 frames, something like that. I think your intention was to try to catch me pressing here. That's what it looks like anyway, so this is pretty good. Unfortunately, that's a driver's
That's
cancel
where it
button,
ended.
right? You can cancel that button, right? Pretty sure.
No,
Oh, you can't? Maybe I'm thinking something
you
else.
can, you can, you can.
Oh, you can.
I
Okay.
just didn't.
Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure you can driver's cancel. So anyway, you know, having a buffer behind this might have been okay. Something I'll talk about here is that when you press buttons, typically you want to press them with intention, right? So if you are trying to hit me with your stand medium punch, right? Maybe buffer the drive rush, right? Maybe have something behind it when it hits, right? So most of the time, I think this is something that people struggle with is that when you press a button, you should expect it to hit. Like you should be expecting it to land, basically, right? If you know you're not going to hit or you're going to whiff the button, then you shouldn't be pressing it in the first place, right? So ideally, you have an idea and know that your button's going to land, or at least you're very confident that's going to happen, right? So you should be looking out for the hit and buffering behind that, right? Because if you land that stand medium punch into drive rush, you know, you land your full combo and you put me in a pretty bad position, right? And now I have to guess strike throw. You can go for an Ocho throw, right? If you end with the sumo, the butt slam ender, right? You get the Oki scenario. So when you press buttons like that in neutral, try to have intention behind it, right? Try to be like, all right, I'm gonna drivers cancel this, or I'm going to buffer this into a special, or whatever that may look like for Honda, right? So, right. So use a lot of D-Rev here. And I think like there were times where you tried to do the Honda anti-air with the chop and didn't quite come out in time. So
Yeah.
you kind of switched to the parry, which is fine, right? I mean, if that's what's working here, I do think that do 2 bars to get out of the situation might be a little expensive, right? So like you could just easily block here, right? Maybe take a throw potentially, right? You have a lot of life, may not be the worst thing in the world. But yeah, 2 bars to do that is kind of expensive. But also, it's the start of the round, so it's not a huge deal. You still have a driver's cancel in the tank. Alright. Yeah, so this is something I did note, was that you tended to press when you were minus. So you got hit by this frame trap a couple of times. Now, I didn't do this quite correctly. Like, I confirmed into the wrong thing here. And you kind of get hit because you stopped blocking. But what happened here was after the drive rush here, like I'm plus, so then I go for a frame trap, and it looks like you're trying to press a jab, right? So you can see here that you're trying to challenge with a jab, right? So like defensive decision making wise, when you block a button that is plus, you generally want to continue blocking, right? Challenging when you're minus usually is a specific response to something that the opponent is doing. Right, so like if I'm going for this stand medium punch and I try to walk up throw, or like I do a shimmy, or I try to do something else that doesn't enforce the plus frames, that's when you can challenge, right? So when you talk about character knowledge, this is one of those things you have to pick up, where you have an idea of characters' frame traps, when they're plus, right, when they're minus, that type of thing. If you don't want to look at the frame data and don't want to like study all that, typically what I tell people is that if you block a low forward drive rush, right? So if you block the driver's cancel, whatever, this first button is typically going to be plus, right? So you can't press after this, right? But the second button is generally going to be minus on block, right? Generally, not every character is like that. Some characters do have plus on block. Normals like Sagat and like Kim, right? They can continue their pressure with some plus frame on block normals. But generally speaking, the second button you block after the drive rush button is going to be minus, and that's when you can take a turn back. Like for Ken here in particular, this button's actually -2 on block. So if you block this stand medium punch, you can just take a turn back with a jab or something, right? That's when you would challenge. You may not hit me, and I may just block it, but at least my pressure is over, right? Like you take a turn back, reset back to neutral, try again, right? So yeah, just be careful pressing on minus frames when you're minus. Now here, I make a mistake. I don't confirm into the right thing. But what happened here is I think you'd stop blocking. Right here. Oh, you're walking backwards. Okay. So you try to do, I'm guessing there was a DI or some sort of input here that didn't come out. So yeah, I mean, I made a mistake there. I should have confirmed it into something else there. But just remember, make sure that when something like this happens, like you're in this position here, just continue down backing, right? There's no reason to try to do anything else in a lot of the time. Like just holding down back and waiting is typically going to be a safer option. Alright, so try to wake up with a headbutt. Unfortunately, go for the throw. That's just, you know, you guessed I was going to go for a button, is what it is. Alright, but here again, you go for another wake up option, right? And then you kind of just take the throw here, which I think is fine. You could take one, maybe two more throws here, but you know, you have to make a decision again at some point. Good tech. And then you use headbutt to get your space back, right? And then you're able to catch me here, right? So like I don't press right away. Right, so if I was actually what I should have doing here is if I'm gonna take my turn back, I should be pressing right away, right? But you can see I'm pretty late on my jab, because if I had jabbed on time here, this actually beats you, right? Right. So when you go for that kind of continuing pressure on minus frames, I think what you did here was fine because it worked out. But I'm saying that for me, I should have, if I was going to take my turn back here, I should have been pressing sooner. And for you, if you notice your opponent is continuing to try to take their turn back after a headbutt, you could try to blow them up then, right? Maybe do the headbutt into EX headbutt, right? Something like that. Or, you know, try to space trap them by backing up a little bit, right? So both of those options work pretty well. In this case, what you did was you went straight for a button, right? So after this blocks, you're technically minus here, and then you press right away, right? So you're minus, what, 3 here or something like that? 1, 2, 3, 4, something like 3 or 4, whatever it is. And then you press right away here, right? So against someone, like, when you get into, you know, if you were to go back into ranked right now, a lot of people will press here, right? They'll press after this headbutt because they know you're minus, right? So you have to do something like an EX headbutt or some other, like, turn steal option to beat that, right? So again, just if you're doing this, pressing when you're minus, it's typically needs to be a response to something your opponent is doing, right? You need to be doing it with a reason. If you autopilot buttons while you're minus, you're gonna get blown up a lot, right? And that's kind of what happened to you in these two games. So unfortunate whiff. And then you get kind of caught here, right? So how did this last interaction go, right? Let's take a look at this. Right there. Alright, so you whiff your button here, right? And I don't necessarily fault this. I would imagine that you thought I might be walking forward potentially here, so it whiffs. I don't really punish it, so it's not really like a big deal. Like if I was paying attention and crouching medium kicked you here, obviously it would have been game over. But nothing happens, right? So it's okay. You whiff the button. I move up to take up the space because you had just whiffed, right? Like you can't really act. And I try to stuff you trying to press another button with my 5 frame right here, right? So if you went for like another medium button or something like that, that would blow you up. So you continue to block here, which is fine. But then here's what ends up happening is you get pushed back. I'm pressing my button before you press yours, if you look, right? And why does that work here, right? Or what's happening for me is I'm trying to press my button at a spacing where it's going to land at the tip. Right? And I also assume, and maybe I was right, maybe I was wrong. In this case, I was wrong, but it worked out. I assumed that after you blocked this, you would continue trying to walk backwards, right? So right here, I think you like in my head, I thought you were gonna walk back, so I throw this button out, right? What you would like to do is you press a button that will whiff, right? Your crouch jab, I think is what this is, right? So this is, I mean, it's a pretty far-reaching move, right? Honda's cross jab, it's up there in terms of range, but it was gonna whiff from this distance, right? So like even best case scenario, like in this situation, even if you had pressed first, like this button won't reach me, so there's not really a point to press it, if that makes sense, right? Like you have to try to limit the number of times you whiff overall, right? And this, in this case, like this isn't like some crazy whiff punish. I didn't react or whiff punish a jab here. What actually happened was I pressed a button that I thought would reach at the tip of my range, and it just happened to clip your button that you whiff. Right? That's like at the heart is what happened here. So now that you're in master, one of the things you can continue to work through is this spacing aspect, right? Trying not to whiff any buttons, basically. Trying to make sure that you're standing in a space where your effective ranges will continue to be effective, right? Like this range that you're standing at here is too far for a jab. Right here. Right, and Ken's hitbox actually moves forward a little bit in this too, right? So his hitbox is probably like around here. It just so happens that the hurt box that you had goes away, right? 3-frame active, right? So right here, there's no more hitbox, right? And then Ken moves into the range and hits you, right? So, but yeah, the thing I would take away from this, really, if you look at the round, the main thing is to watch out for when you get a tendency to do wake up options, right? So on Oki, like going for active defensive options, I think that people benefit more from blocking more often, right? So choosing to block, choosing not to be active here, right? Like 2 of these conversions, I mean, throws obviously are throws, but 2 of those conversions happen because you tried to do something, right? So we go over here, try to stuff this, and then there's these, right? So let's take a look at round 2 here. Yeah, see, you tried, right? I saw it, so I respect that, right? Trying to anti-air with Honda can be kind of tough. I think that chop is really good, and I think like you can potentially anti-air with like headbutt, but I know that can be hard. So, but you know, you went for it. That's the important thing. Is you recognized it just happened to not work. But you can see here that like you're taking a little bit more damage on this throw because you went for an active option, right? So you tried to armor through the meaty strike that would have been potentially coming. Instead, you take a 2000 damage throw, right? 20% throw. Go for jump, and then here again you go for a DI. I don't know if that's supposed to be a wake up D-rev or not. You're holding back here, so wake up DI can be kind of tough to justify. Like the only thing I can think it beats is if I did like a non-cancelable button for a meaty. So like if I did like stand medium kick or stand heavy kick buttons, right? For Ken anyway. So it's a little bit limited in terms of what it beats, but it loses to a lot, right? So meaty strike, if I do a meaty button cancel or meaty jabs, I can break your armor. If I go for meaty throw, it'll break that. If I go for like a jump or a shimmy, I can react by either coming down with my own button after you DI through me, or if I shimmy, I can just react with DI, right? So wake up DI is tough, right? It's a hard call out to an option that not a lot of people do, right? So I would suggest trying to do that less. Now, if that's supposed to be D-rev, that's totally fine. I had the wrong input, but you know, if you're supposed to be D-rev, I respect that. Okay. So I thought in my head that maybe you wouldn't go for another active option, but let's take a look, right? So first knockdown, EX headbutt. Second knockdown, jump, and then DI, and then active, right? So let's wake up and reversal here, right? So the 4 times got knocked down here. All 4 of those times you went for an aggressive option, right? Now obviously it works out here, and this is good because you know it worked. But in my head I was like, I don't think they're gonna go for it again because they had missed the last 3, right? But you went for it, and it worked because I wasn't ready for that. But I will say that you have to be careful about selecting that option too many times because you look at all the damage you took before this interaction happened, right? So like you're down to like 1 interaction of life left, right? So if I land a driver's cancel here, I'll likely cash out, build level 3 during that, and kill you, right? So that's something you'll have to keep in mind, is that as you go climb in ranks, some of these smaller decision points start to matter a lot more. Yeah, so wake up jab again, right? That one was good. That was a good punish right there.
I had to follow that up.
Yeah, and normally it's a headbutt that comes after that, right? Pretty sure.
You can also do a tempo slap.
Okay, yeah, and that gives you the plus frames right after that. So I think you went for it again. So I you know, anti-airing, I can see you're recognizing going for it. Just needs a little refinement, but this is good. Okay, wake up options again, and then the late DP, right? So trying to bait the late tech from me, and then I end up recovering in time to DP, right? So really, I think like if you were to take our games and take a look at like what might need to change or what can be worked on, I think just electing to block a little more often, right? Sticking with just blocking, taking the throw, being okay with, you know, accepting that media pressure is coming, and letting it go back to neutral, right? So, because again, this round, you lose 60% of your health, right? This is a good amount of your health that's gone because you were being active on defense, right? The risk reward for you there, you know, was skewed towards me as the attacker, and it always is. But if you try to be active too much and your opponent adapts to that, this is what's going to happen, right? I have a huge life lead now, and a meter lead a little bit as well because I've been punish counter throwing you and you know, hitting you on block and all that stuff, right? So, but yeah. But otherwise, though, if you look at like the neutral game, I thought that was a lot better, right? At least the previous round we looked at, right? You were better at like kind of being patient in neutral. It's just that in these knockdown situations, it gets a little scrambly for you, and I feel like you feel compelled to do something, right? And I think that you don't always have to. So cool. So with that, I'm gonna bring up one of the replays that you sent me. Any questions or thoughts right now while I bring that up? What are you thinking?
No, that's if everything makes sense.
Okay. All right. So this is a B Battle Hub tournament, right? Cool. Let's take a
Yes.
look. All right. So Guile gameplay. It's tough. Well, let's see what happens here. Guile is a pain in the butt for sure. Let's take a look. Okay. Oh, that was dope. Okay, so in the first couple of seconds here, I can see that you are definitely way more patient in neutral, right, than in previous times we played, right? So you're kind of waiting here, trying to get them to press a button, trying to get them to induce a whiff or something that you can kind of counter poke, right? And then you're at a space where the headbutt, or sorry, the butt slam is awkward. So this is good. So it causes the cross up here. God's flash can just hit you in time, right? I think you get a
I
follow
wasn't
from this,
expecting the
right?
punish counter. I could have followed
Yeah.
up with a heavy kick into the sumo lift,
Yeah, right here. And then
and I did it again.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting the punish counter
Punish counter. Yeah.
because normally I just eat the flash kicks.
Right. And that happens more often than not, right? If you're standing further away, and they do like the heavy flash kick, that, you know, sometimes the hitbox will catch you out of the air, right? But this kind of goes back to what I was saying in the previous replay, where when you do things, expect them to hit, right? Be ready to confirm the punish counter or whatever, right? Because if you're ready here, this is an easy 2-bar combo that puts them all the way to the corner until it's like 3,000 damage, right? So just be ready, you know, when you do things, be ready for the punish counter, be ready for the counter hit, and confirm accordingly, right? It's definitely a useful skill because as you get higher in rank, these opportunities become less and less, right? Like people make less mistakes on average, generally speaking, as you go up in rank, and these opportunities where they miss something or you get a punish counter like this start to really dry up. It's hard to manufacture these, right? So when you do get an opportunity like this, you know, you have to capitalize. Ooh, okay, so what happened here? Let's take a look. Right, so you go for the headbutt here, right? And kind of what we looked at last time, right? Where your jab kind of whiffs here, right? The crouch jab. So something you'll have to, we'll take a look at the lab in a second, what I think you probably might need to incorporate into your kind of training plan, if you will. But from here, right, like in your head, when you look at this, do you think Honda's jab will reach or not, right? Like I don't actually know Honda's ranges, so I would guess yes, because I know it's pretty long.
Yeah.
but it turns out it doesn't, right?
I guess yes.
Yeah, right. You guess it looked like you thought so too, right? And I don't know if it's because God moved back here, right? Maybe he's slightly out of range, whatever. But unfortunately, it does whiff here, right? So that is something you'll have
That's
to
right
keep
through
in
his
mind.
elbow.
Yeah, right, right. Because like right here is the hitbox, and I think, or sorry, your hitbox is here, and I think Guile's hitbox is like closer to his thigh right here, right? So unfortunate that it whiffs here. I'm actually not too mad about it, if I'm being perfectly honest here. Like, this is a reasonable thing to think it'll hit, right? But what ends up happening, though, is the Guile presses his button because his button's going to reach, or he thinks it'll reach. And when you press your button you thought it reached, it ends up whiffing, and then he gets this punish counter, right? So it's kind of similar to what happened in the last replay, round 1, where I hit you with a stand heavy kick. The whiff you do ends up getting punished because the opponent presses a button that will more likely hit, right? So it's unfortunate that was the case. And again, I'm not going to be too mad about this interaction where you thought it would hit because it looked pretty close. But that's just what's happening, right? So, all right. Sets a blade. Parry, good. Okay. So Guile is trying to walk you down now, right? So he throws the blade. You parry. Continues walking forward. You get hit here because why? Try to jab again? Let's see. Okay, so I think this is actually not terrible, right? So the reason I said it is because I think what I'm thinking is happening here is you're trying to keep them from getting too close, right? So you just throw a jab out to stop them from walking up. Unfortunately, he stops and just presses his button instead, and you kind of get hit. Now, of course, God doesn't get a huge reward for this, so it's fine, but it is kind of annoying, right? All right, so again, the Guile is not able to deal with the headbutt, or sorry, butt slam. All right, here we go. Nice. So you end up getting the jump in, right? This was good. But how did you get the jump in? Let's take a look, right? So do the butt slam. Right? And the Guile just didn't have charge. He actually tried to crouching heavy kick, punch you here, and it didn't work out for him, right? So it was good. You went for the jump, you got it, and you got the conversion, right? This is big damage here. Right, and Oki. Okay. So something I did notice is that you go for this neutral jump kind of shimmy thing when you land like a knockdown here. So that can be okay, right? In terms of a reaction, or sorry, an Oki setup. But the thing is, like, what are you baiting when you do that, right? What are you expecting your opponent to do when you do neutral jump? And a lot of times it's delay tech, right? So when you neutral jump in front of somebody in Oki, you're expecting them to delay tech or do something that you can punish the jump. Maybe do like a wake up medium for some reason, or a heavier button, right? So for delay tech in particular, if you haven't really been throwing this guy, then why would he go for delay tech if you think about it, right? Like, why would he go for defensive option for something you haven't shown necessarily? Now, I know in ranked, people do all kinds of things all the time, and maybe it's not a bad idea to kind of test the waters a little bit with a safer Oki setup. But so far, this guy hasn't really given you a huge compelling reason to try to bait delay tech yet, right? Like, you're not throwing him enough to make him want to delay tech, if that makes sense, right? So I would say that learn a few more setups if you can. Let's see how this round goes, but try to use other meaty setups if you can, right? Honda has some good stuff. That was sick. Okay, so counter here. So in this case, you did buffer behind it, right? So the parry here. Guile is minus, you're plus. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. So Guile is plus here, or sorry, Honda, you're plus here, right? And what happens? He tries to steal his turn and presses a bigger button, and you press a faster button here, right? In reality, though, it was actually late, right? So if you look here, here is the minus frames done for you. So you're at neutral. 1, 2, right? You're both in neutral now. And see how many frames before you guys press. So that's 2 frames so far. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13-ish frames before you guys press again, right? So, like, what I'm getting at here is that both of you guys didn't quite do something right away. So it wasn't really like a turn steal necessarily because there was no plus frames or minus frames, right? You're both neutral again. What actually happened here was that he went for a medium button and you pressed the light button and your light button came out faster, right? and then here you buffered it into headbutt here, right? So this is good. This is good stuff. I think like this is one of those things where it's like I'm gonna press the button that makes sense for the spacing I'm at, right? For Honda, it probably didn't make sense for you to press like a heavy button or a medium button there because like it's slower, but just the light's gonna reach and it's faster, right? So okay, get OD reversal there. It's fine. It is what it is. Remember, you have a life lead, and he had to spend meter to do that, right? So it's okay. Good parry. Okay. Uh-oh. Ah, so let's see. How did this hit you, right? So you block it here. Guile is -2, right? So it was your turn right here. 2 frames past that, so now you're about neutral. Right, so he kind of doesn't really steal the turn. In particular, he waits like a frame. Maybe he was trying to. But really where the issue was in this interaction, the previous interaction, was that your button was a little bit slow you were slow to press it, right? So you could have pressed it way back here and counter hit him after. Basically counter hit him out or whatever he was doing. Right? So, and that happened in the previous interaction too, where you were both kind of set to neutral. So that might be something to take a look at in your replays. If you are going to challenge, like you're recognizing that he's going to try to steal a turn, if you're going to challenge like that on someone's minus frames, make sure you press timely, right? You need the advantage to make sure that your button will come out before theirs, right? So just something to watch out for. You know, these little things, again, start to matter more because the bigger stuff we've already kind of addressed, right? So these little things are where you're going to kind of grind out advantage against these against folks in ranked, or at least in in these ranks. Okay. Ooh, flash kicked. Ooh. What happened there? Oh, okay.
I tried to swing a headbutt.
Yeah. Went for a butt slam and got hit by the EX fireball. So I don't hate that decision, actually. I think this is actually a fine decision to make. You're reading fireball here, right? It's gonna fireball, and then if you had done this sooner, a little bit sooner, right? If your timing was a little bit better, you win this round, right? So you land him, punish counter, you get the conversion basically, right? So I don't hate that. You made a read. It was just a little late, but yeah, I think that was actually okay. But if I wanted to take a look at where you might be losing games, just because you're getting hit a ton, it's because you're pressing in those situations that we talked about, right? So that happens, unfortunately. Right, you get that. Good jump in. You're in good position to win here. Right, get that. You get OD reversaled here, and then there's one more interaction where like you had a chance to press and didn't quite do it on time. Right here, right? And then you just get hit by the thing at the end, right? So again, like small things is why you didn't win this particular round, but you can see it was close, right? It wasn't like it was a blowout or anything. You actually landing hits, you got guy in the corner, you had a chance. So what happened here? Ah, okay. So his button comes out before your button, basically, right? So you went for a crouching medium kick, I'm assuming is what this is, and his Giles comes out sooner, right? So for Honda, crouching medium kick is what? 9 frames? And then for Guile, his is like 7 or 8 frames or something like that. So, or is it whatever it was? Let's see what it was. Yeah, 8 frames, and yours is 9 frames, so that's why that happens. What I will say is that when both players do a round start drive rush like that, I think that if you see it, you should probably go for a jab instead. So like go for like a less, a faster option. right? Something like that, right? Like if you can react to it, right? So if you both, because the screen freezes for a second and you see both players turn green, what I tend to do if that happens is I'll switch to trying to jab or a light string, right? So that my button will come out first. So if the opponent does the same thing, you'll trade, right? So if you both do your 4-framers, you'll end up trading, right? Because the drivers still happen, the buttons will come out at the same time, and then you'll trade, right? If they go for a medium like they did here, they'll get frame trapped, right? Like we just saw. Right, something like that, right? So, like, if they go for that, then you'll hit them, and then if you go for a throw, like, you'll also beat them, right? So, like, again, if you're trying to turn green and they turn green at the same time, switch to jabs, right? If you can react to it. So, flash kick, blade. So you're actually doing pretty well, to be honest, against this Guile here. He hasn't really been zoning you effectively. He's not keeping you on the buttons, right? So you're actually doing a pretty good job here navigating this. That was sick. Uh-oh. Yeah, I gotta watch out here, right? So Guile is plus after that spinning back fist, right? So then you try to press, and you get hit, right? Trying to jab here, right? So trying to challenge on plus frames, right? So kind of running theme, right? Just be careful when you're pressing. You know, the spinning back fist is going to be plus, so you do have to kind of know that that was the case. But if you are getting counter hit a lot, like if you're in game and you're getting counter hit a lot, consider that what you're doing on defense maybe isn't the correct thing. Maybe try to press those buttons, right? Because you can't get counter hit if you're not pressing. So this just means that they're enforcing their plus frames typically, and they haven't adjusted to do anything else because they're continuing to counter hit you, right? So does level 3 for some reason. Oh, it burned you out? I didn't even notice that. Okay. So from the Guile's perspective here, I don't hate the idea to burn you out here with that. I think it's totally fine. I do think they could have went for a route that ends in level 1 though, right? This is an aside, right? I think that spending level 3 here is okay. I don't hate it overall. I think people need to spend their supers more often. Especially for the burnout, but I think he could have gotten away with doing level 1 there instead, right? So nice. This Guile is now afraid to flash kick, right? This is like the 3rd or 4th time he tried to flash kick your butt slam. It didn't work, right? Oh, this is great. This is good stuff. This is good stuff right here. So like, what's working for you? Why is this working, right? So you're in burnout, but you own the pressure, right? You own the screen. Right? So you're able to effectively headbutt, butt slam, right? Right, the Guile doesn't really get a situation to build charge again. Well, now he has charge. But he's just kind of pressing and like not really paying attention to his spacing, and you're able to counter hit, right? So, oh, he just backs off. Oh, okay. And there's the DI, right? So, I don't know if he can kill you. Oh, yeah, he can. So, again, if you look at how this round went for you overall, the damage you were taking was because you're pressing on your on their plus range, right? Like you're pressing when you're minus. Ooh. Alright, so far you're kind of dominating neutral. He hasn't been able to throw booms until just now. Right there. You take a ton of damage because you're trying to press, right? You're doing a good job here navigating this burnout. And then you put yourself in the corner with the butt slam here. Unfortunate, right? But the funny thing is that I don't mind this decision because it had been working for you so far, right? Like every time you do this, the Guile tries to flash kick and it whiffs. So I don't mind that. I don't mind the decision for you to do that there. But it does put you in the corner, right? and then that's all she wrote there. Right? You get DI'd, and that's kind of it. So yeah, I think that like if I were to take away, give you something to work on from here, the first thing would be to try to block more in defensive situations, right? Or choose to block more often, if that makes sense, right? Use that as more default option. Right now, your default seems to be to try to mash something or press something. I want you to try to consider just blocking, right? Like try to just wait out the pressure, and just continue to block. You may take a few more throws overall because you're not like delay teching or having an active option, but the overall damage long term will be less, right? So imagine, mid screen, you take a throw, right? The end of that is 1,000 damage, right? And or 1,200 damage, and that's it. But here, right? You pressed when you're minus, right? You pressed here, and then you end up taking way more damage than that, right? You end up taking 4,000 damage for that, right? So, like overall, like you will take less damage in general if you block more. So I think that might be something you can consider doing, right? The alternative thing is if you want to be active on defense, like let's say you want to blow them up with a reversal or something like that, or a wake up option, consider using your actual reversal here. Like level 1 would work, right? EX headbutt potentially could work if they don't go for throw. Be willing to spend that super as a defensive option if you are committed to waking up with an option, right? So if you have a hard read, or you're like, I want to take my turn back, I don't care what's happening here, try to super or do a invulnerable reversal if you can, right? And do that instead. The wake up jab, the wake up like button can be kind of dangerous in those scenarios, right? So this applies for both, right? It applies for both when you're minus as well as when you're an Oki, right? Because Oki is just an extension of you being minus if you think about it, right? So like in those scenarios, I'd say be more conservative, try not to be active as much, right? Block more, take more throws. But at the same time, if you are going to be active, potentially go for like a super, right? If you have a strong sense that your jab is going to hit, wake up jab is going to hit, then you go for super, right? Because like the outcome in terms of damage is way more if you land a super versus like what's best case scenario if you land the wake up jab, right? You do jab 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 headbutt, right? Like jab jab headbutt, something like that, which is much less damage overall. So I would say that's probably the big thing to kind of work through. I think you'll probably notice that more and more as you play. And then the second thing is kind of secondary, really, is the spacing stuff, right? So making sure that you are standing at a space where your buttons won't whiff, right? And making sure that you do your best to land buttons when you press them, right? So intentionality behind buttons, assume they're going to hit, be ready to confirm them when you can, right? So yeah, I think that sums it up pretty good. What do you think? Any thoughts, questions, concerns?
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Okay. So again, I think like a lot of the damage you're taking now is likely from those scenarios, right? So if you stopped doing those things, imagine you're taking 4,000 to 5,000 less damage per round overall. I'm kind of overestimating a little bit, but imagine you're taking 3,000 damage less per round even. That's an extra interaction, right? That you're able to now deal with or have, during the round, right? As opposed to just giving it up. So yeah, cool, man. So do you want to run it back? You got time? What do you think?
Yeah,
Cool.
I got time.
Let's do it.
Do
Let me create and invite. All right. So for this set, what I kind of want you to think about is like when you're on defense, try to just block more. Try not to wake up with options as much, and see how much different the game ends up being for you.
gotcha. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, no worries.
Be right back.
Yep. Hit with the BRB. Oh, look at that. Yeah. High tech stream options here, guys.
I'm back.
Alrighty, let's do it. Leave the mics hot. That's funny. Alright. Oh, CFN, come on. There we go. Nice. That was a good call. That was a good call. I was about to burn you out. Nice.
Oh, I messed.
Oh.
I didn't. Oh, they didn't come out.
Still a good combo. Oh, nice. Uh-oh.
I paid attention to my meter.
Oh, I got clipped, I think, doing something there. But you can see, I think, like, even
Oh?
just now, you're blocking
I
a
was
little
just,
more.
I was just trying to block.
Yeah, yeah. I think you kind of just got clipped, unfortunately. But you can see now, like, you're blocking a little bit more, and you see how I have to, like, do something else now. I can't just, like, get in for free anymore, right? Can't open you up for free anymore. Oh, nice. Oh, careful.
Oh, I messed up.
Ooh, went for a jump, maybe? Nice. Ooh. Oh!
Unnecessary.
Oh, man.
Still total waste, but it came out.
It worked. Oh, no.
Messed up. Ah, should have just did normal.
But, yeah, I mean, if you had converted that, I would have been in some trouble for sure. Nice. Oh. Nice. Oh, that was sick. Oh, nice. Oh, dope. Trying to fireball, it didn't quite work out. Good stuff. Oh, no DP for me. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Messed up. Hey, there we go.
Oh, nice. Nice. Oh.
I should have just jumped over you.
Yeah, I should
So
jump
neutral
forward,
jump.
right? I think I might have been able to crosscut potentially. Nice.
Ah, messed it up.
Nice. I think this might be enough.
I'm dead.
An unfortunate whiff at the end there with the driver slow. I like the idea though, because he clipped me twice with that so far, right? So I like the idea. It was just a little bit out of range that time.
I'm spoiled by Bison's drive rush.
Yeah. Drive rush into plus frame, plus frame, plus frame.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, sick. So nice, did it twice. The one time I think you actually teched. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But you saw what happened though, right? I think that you still did some wake up option that was totally fine, right? But you chose to block more often, and because of that, I was having to change my offense to try to open you up, and that meant that you got more interactions, right? I couldn't just keep getting away with meaty pressure, opening you up that way and getting like kind of almost free damage from that, right? Now we had to play more neutral interactions. You had more opportunities to do things like EX headbutt or headbutt in neutral, butt slams, that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think that was pretty good adjustment on your part to do that. But yeah, I think like if you work on those things, I think you'll start winning a lot more matches. If you decide to hop back into ranked, I think you'll start winning more matches that way. So
I plan on doing just spending more time in the hyperbolic time chamber.
yeah. I mean, you can also
What I do.
play folks in Fight Rise. Play me, get customs and all that. It's also a great way to go, and I think you'll get a lot of experience doing that too. And you can see the difference, right? You took a game from me here, took some rounds off me here, after you blocked more often, right? So it's good stuff. Cool, man. Anything else you want to ask before we wrap up?
Oh no, you pretty much covered everything.
Great, man.
For me.
Cool, man. So yeah, I'll just do the outro on stream. You can hang out if you want. We'll be just meeting you on Discord. So thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
You.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sit down and shut up. Ruuberducks been on the show a couple of times, and they always get better, appreciably better every time I play them. So it's good on them. They're doing good work out there. So I run this through the FightRise Discord. So FightRise is a fighting game community that runs events. They run bi-weekly events through their One Fight Stand series. Basically a 7-round round robin. It's rank separated, so if you're interested in that, please join. Also, they do community showcase events through their Urge to Fight series. If you're interested in looking at those previous VODs, it's on twitch.tv/FightRiseFGC. You take a look at some of the previous VODs that they've done for those. So, again, community showcase. So folks that have been in the community playing, they get to, get an exhibition, they get commentary, and we get to show the stats mod and all this cool stuff, right? So it's a good time. We do commentary for the members so often, so check it out. It's cool. If you're interested in a session like this for yourself, and you like what I'm doing here, please join the FightRise Discord. Take a look at the level up section. There are a couple of different coaches you can talk to that are part of FightRise. Take a look at their individual channels and look at pin messages to see how you can sign up for a coaching session like this for yourself, right? So I'm also part of the Newbie Fight Club. So Newbie Fight Club is a fighting game community focused on helping newer players get into fighting games, mostly Street Fighter 6. And if I didn't mention it before, FightRise is also mostly Street Fighter 6. They do lobby nights every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Mondays is their modern nights. So if you play modern or interested in modern, take a look at those lobby nights. You don't have to play modern, but it's encouraged just to try it out. Wednesdays are the main newbie nights. So if you're new to the game, looking for games and looking to meet people, Wednesday would be the time you want to come in. And then Fridays is typically open lobby, so kind of just chill in Battle Hub, hang out and voice chat and play games. So those are always good events. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sundays, I think every other Sunday, they do a double elimination tournament. I think they're still debating on switching it between double elimination and Swiss or alternating, whatever. But if you're interested in another tournament like that, on Sundays, take a look at the Discord, join, look at the announcements for the next one coming up. They also do modern monthly, so I think it's like every third Monday or whatever Monday it is in the month. They'll do a modern only tournament. So if you're a modern warrior and want to fight other modern warriors and see who the best modern warrior is, that is a good tournament to try to join. A lot of good players, a lot of strong players show up to that, so it's a good time there. Again, all the details are in the Discord links that I've posted in chat. So thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys, and have a good night.